Hi everyone, Meliagris Felis here. See, I mentioned the name. Eventually you'll get used to it. I wanted to talk about, well, you can see it right there, Brian Fischer. There's also a YouTube channel I'm going to steer you to, in which he speaks about this case. Basically, let me tell you the background. Two women were joined in a civil union in Vermont. They had a child together. One woman gave birth to the child, but they both consider themselves the child's mother, the little girl's mother. And, they raised the child together. The relationship didn't work. They broke up. The biological mother had physical custody of the child, but she then became a fundamentalist Christian and renounced anything to do with lesbianism. And she did not want her former partner to have anything to do with their child. So she moved to Virginia, partly because Virginia doesn't recognize same-sex relationships or, other partner adoptions and things like that. Well, she did her very best to keep this child away from her other mother. And this went to court numerous times. And you can look this up. It's easy to find. Finally, the courts ruled that the child was to go live in Vermont with the other mother. And this was largely because of the way the biological mother had refused to obey all the court rulings and allow the other mother to see the child and to visit with the child. Well, before this could happen, the biological mother and the child disappeared. Well, it turns out that this man, let me check his name here. His name is Miller. He's an Amish Mennonite pastor, Kenneth Miller, and he facilitated what is essentially the kidnapping of this child, excuse me, and the flight of the child and the biological mother out of the country and to Nicaragua. He had other members of his church drive the two of them to Canada, and from there they went to Mexico, and there they went to Nicaragua, where this group has a mission, and the mother and child changed their names and stayed with people who belong to this church down there. Now, since then, they've apparently moved at least a couple of times, and nobody knows where they are. Now, our government considers this an international kidnapping case, and they are looking for the mother and child. But the Justice Department filed criminal charges against the people who facilitated this kidnapping, because that's what our government considers it, a kidnapping. And that includes this pastor. Now, my understanding is that the court trial started yesterday, unless something held it up. I haven't seen anything, but it was supposed to start yesterday. And they have a remarkable amount of evidence, because this guy didn't try to hide what he did. They've got credit card receipts, they've got emails, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, there are people supporting him. His attorney says, oh, well, he didn't mean to interfere with visitation rights. Right, he just took the mother and child, or helped the mother and child go to some place in South America where they were going to change their names and so on and so forth. Yeah, he didn't mean to interfere with visitation rights. But Brian Fischer has now weighed in on this, and you can see these quotes here from his Twitter account. And what he's doing is he's suggesting that, yeah, we need an underground railroad to take children away from their gay parents. In the YouTube video, he goes even further. He basically lies about the case. He says that the child came home and said that she'd been sexually abused after she'd visited her other mother, and that she had all these nightmares after visiting her other mother. Well, this has already been through the courts, and if there was any truth whatsoever to any of this, it would have come out. What has come out is that the biological mother is an out-and-out liar. She'll do or say anything to support her, relatively new religious beliefs and keep the child away from a woman that she at one time pledged a relationship with in a civil union. So as usual, Brian Fischer has gone to an unbelievable extreme, and I think you should hear about this. And I think we should kind of keep an eye on this court case to see how it goes, because this could really define future law in this situation. There have been a number of cases where people have hidden children from same-sex parents because, one parent goes and becomes Christian and decides they want to change everything around and so on and so forth. And there have been a lot of court battles over this. So we need to kind of keep an eye on this. If anybody hears anything new, please let me know. And if I hear anything, I will let you know. I am just very happy that our government is taking this very seriously, is going to prosecute these people. And from what I've read, it sounds like they're going to try to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Kidnapping is just no laughing matter. And where this child is and what circumstances she's living in. She was in Nicaragua, and then there was something about maybe she was in Ecuador. So it sounds to me like she's going from place to place with no stability whatsoever, and that's just horrific. So if these people are all prosecuted, and right now they're concentrating on prosecuting this minister, and they hopefully get time in prison, I think this will make a lot of other people out there think twice about joining in any underground railroad like Brian Fischer thinks this country needs. What this country needs is to be shut of people like Brian Fischer. Anyway, thanks again for listening. And this is Meleagris Felis, or Jade. You can just call me Jade. Signing out. Bye.